Okay.
Does this like is enough? Just this
Oh,
code?
sorry. What is enough again?
Like the code I just sent you.
Yeah.
Like, is it fine to watch
That
the
is
replay?
fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, definitely. We can have one replay. It's should be enough. And then I should be screen sharing, by the way, too. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect. So, what kind of character you played in this game, and maybe any other specific things you? I'm thinking. Yeah, what do you think you could have done better in this game? First of all.
So I know in the attack section of the map, like I started in attack. I played just no, I mean I started in defense and I played really poorly. Like I got caught a lot in the early game. I just got hooked and took wrong decisions a lot. I think I just played that part really bad. Especially like at the beginning of this game, I didn't know where to go. Like all my team was in the high ground at the left, and I didn't know if I had to follow them or not. But then when we were on the reverse and I attacked, I think I did better. But I didn't know how to actually win the game. Like I just like was clicking on people and hoping they die and hoping we win. You know?
So do you want to start with this beginning part, or maybe any other section you want to start with?
I mean, I think we can start with the beginning.
Okay, that's fine. So, what's your idea here? What's your plan here as Kiriko? Any big things you want to mention because of this team composition you have, because of this map you play in? Any big things want to pay attention?
I mean, I like to stay on the high ground a lot because I can just drop on people if they are low, or teleport on ally, or just do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I just want to like. I know. I think I'm. One of my mistakes is that I focus a bit too much on healing people. I'm not sure, but I'm afraid I do. So. Like maybe I don't take enough picks. I know in the early game, like in the first 30 seconds of the game, I was really passive, just throwing like heals at my team and waiting. So I think that's not great.
Okay, so do you think you could have done a better with going aggressive in this specific case then? Like trying to go for more aggressive shots, or what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, especially when I see that they don't have characters like Widowmaker or Hanzo that can just one-tap me, and I don't have like big risk. I think I can like try to look for angles a bit more. For sure.
Yeah, true. Okay, so if we go back slightly, also. So let's think about that, because I would say you're really correct with this kind of statement. So because overall, from even the macro picture, the damage output in a game is always going to be higher than healing output, and also realistically, nobody needs healing right now, right? So something we can look for is potentially we can say we can support as a providing damage towards an enemy a lot of times just by trying to hit them. Let's say you headshot somebody, or maybe even body shot, you make them hide, and then they're not participating in a fight and shooting your team, especially against the characters like maybe Surgeon, or maybe even Defara at this point. Well, she cannot one-shot somebody, of course, unless there is the person is kind of lowish, but that is something to look for. Let's say you shoot them, you should Reaper away. For Reaper, it will be harder to do damage to take space, okay? So let's think about that. Where we can be, where we want to be, if we want to start with applying pressure, with doing damage at the start.
I mean, here I think I should just be with Reinhardt, because even if they have a pick character, I can just be behind the shield and it's fine.
Yeah, I would say so too. So something you want to scout definitely is playing around the threats, such as just mainly one-shot characters, honestly. Even the Hog can be the potential threat, but because you do play corners correctly and or play around the shield correctly, then it shouldn't be the problem. I would say your first priority is always playing around the corners, and then the second is trying to utilize your Reinhardt, of course. So yeah, this is like two potential shots, or maybe even 3 shots we could have done, and then after that going back, and because we do that, who knows, Pharah will be forced to play more passive, and then as a consequence she will not land aggressive shot on somebody, for example. So that is the first thing. Want to find a more aggressive position, and especially because you just starting the fight, what we call it, we have the poke phase, the real fight's not starting yet. That is something to look for as well. Be more aggressive. Oh, actually, I have one example, something what you can do in your games. That is really, really valuable. Trying to be more aggressive in a poke phase, trying to be really active with your cooldowns. I think I can find it later. Maybe it's just as a visual presentation as well. What we can do potentially. Okay, but
Okay,
so
okay.
far. Okay, so far we're holding the high ground to your Reinhardt. Also got 1%. Tipping towards the Reinhardt. Okay. Looking for shots. Sure. Then notice. Okay, that's so far. This is alright. Tipping back to the high ground, so you take more aggressive position. Something to look for is, think about it this way. When you get a position, yeah, so like right now, we have a really good position, yeah. So what's our first step should be? Usually. Because, like,
Like,
let's... Sorry,
no, go ahead, go
continue.
ahead.
No, it's just, the question is, how to avoid this from happening? What can be our first step to avoid this from happening, potentially?
Like I know, like my problem is that I didn't even think this could happen. Like I wasn't aware that like Hog wasn't like on screen and he could be flanking, so I didn't even think about it. So I think the first thing to do would be like who can come and from where, and like just to be aware of it, because I have my Suzu, so like if he just shows, I can cancel his hook easily if I know it.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're describing there is, so we know where the hog is, we can scout, and then with scouting, there are multiple things you can do. Well, first of all, you just look at the kill feed, certain characters alive, so you can maybe try to assume where they can be, depending on the situation you're in, because the hog was a main, maybe he can rotate through here, or maybe through there. That is the first part. The second part is just looking with your visuals, of course. Scouting is always your first step. Second step is setting up accordingly to your scouting information, and after that you can look to engage mainly. Okay, so we can look to do something actively, and if you think about those steps as well, by the way, that is something what we can do, because you do scouting in the start, you can actually play your position better. You can actually set up better and apply more pressure potentially if you need to, because we would have done the scouting in the start of the fight too. And this is kind of like, again, the same problem. We're not in a position to scout, but that might be avoidable if we have this constant 3 steps rule. I would say whenever there is a fight is over, okay, let's do scouting. Yeah, for scouting, you need to get a position. Usually after you get a position, maybe you can scout additionally what's happening on the map again, get this kind of potential target on the enemy team who is the easiest to kill or something like that. Okay, so let's watch what's gonna happen next time.
I mean, this early game is gonna be painful. I really don't play well in the beginning of the game, but it's fine.
Okay. What I think is... Okay, so interesting. First of all... Okay, supporting our Reinhardt. What we can do with our positioning here? In terms of... What do you think about this position here? Is it fine for us to be in this position, or should it be somewhere else?
I should have probably climbed to the high ground at my right, like in the building.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I can still heal Reinhardt from here, and I can, like, I'm safer probably.
Yeah, and you also have what we call a better map control, yeah? But all of that, you do kind of think about it this way. So once you did the scouting, yeah, that is what we call you set up in a position, and then after that, you're looking to engage. Because yes, maybe you can avoid setting up before the fight starts. Maybe you can avoid that, but there's always should be good reason for it. If you know you can get a kill on somebody, because there is a shadow, might be understandable, but right before that, though, something you want to look for is definitely setting up, though. Yeah, let's say your Reinhardt landed shadow instantly, and we don't have time to set up, then of course, maybe you want to follow up on that, because good reason to give up the position is, if we get a kill, usually, that's always really valuable, but before that, looking to set up on these positions and potentially pressure the enemy angles away too, yeah, because the Overwatch 2 currently is a lot about the map control, yeah, so whoever have the better positioning, so more angles here, it becomes really dangerous. It becomes really scary, because now what the Ana can do, Ana can land the grenade on somebody, or Pharah can look for additional damage too. And yeah, also technically you would be more safe. So that's what we call those positions, kind of taking off angles potentially.
Okay.
Just slightly more. Okay. And that would be can be connected to our second step rule. When we set it up, let's take off angles. Let's try to use them a little bit more. Okay, we have our Kiriko ultimate. Okay, so what we should do now, right here.
Right here, I don't really know. Like we lost someone, so we should probably like back up.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
we need to walk out. But besides that, I'm not really sure. Like probably trying to like find a peak while walking back, so that they can't push further.
Okay.
Not
Let's try to follow those C steps again. Is it really comfortable for you to scout in this position? The fight's kind of over.
No.
Okay, so if it's not comfortable to scout in this position, what kind of position we can take to scout?
I mean, I could like climb at my right again.
Yeah.
Probably.
For example, we can climb on the right side. Yeah, and then also probably you will be solving that problem with setup. Of course, you can readjust, yeah, because let's say you did additional scouting, maybe you're positioned here because your tank is going back or something. But that is the steps we have to do because you constantly gotta be having this kind of. Because why not to have positional advantage? Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, obviously. Of
it's
course.
just obviously, let's say somebody's gonna flank us. Like right now, by the way, there is something what's happening because you set up. Let's say you notice the Reaper, additional shots. Yeah, notice the Pharah, additional shots. And because you notice the Reaper cannot get a kill on your Ashe, for example. That's the role of you as a support. Yeah, like a lot of times, you especially as Kiriko, controlling those angles. But in order to do that, we need to be able to scout setup, constant steps rule. Yeah, 3 steps rule.
Okay.
Now, actually, this is what gives them an advantage currently, even. So in this case, we have to push back, which makes sense. But then you have your ultimates, which you can use to retake the fight. But it becomes difficult at the end. Yeah, see, it's kind of a snowball. And actually, Reaper, a snowball from that point because we just didn't do the scouting and setting up part, basically. And becomes so difficult. But that's okay. Honestly, about getting GM masters, it's just being more disciplined about those kind of things. Of course, it's not about that only, but from what I see, this is something what we can improve on first, probably. There might be other things, potential things which I see we can work on, just some additional positioning things, but that's all right. So far, this looks like this, yeah. So basically, this position allows you to potentially, if you take it, might be able to scout, you might be able to do something here, pressure the enemy far away, and then okay.
Oh, I don't even use my grenade, like it's really bad, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's obvious mistake, of course. And you spot it as well. I'm just thinking, okay, so what our but we play differently. So we're picking from the left side. And our symmetry is that, sure. And then after that, we're looking to take top right. Yeah, so I'm thinking, could we play it differently? Besides this throwing this kind of a Suzu grenade here or something like that, could we be doing something as well?
Here, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think I can push forward the pharmacy because I don't have much pressure besides like landing 2 headshots quickly, but it's kind of difficult on a flying Pharah.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I mean, maybe just disengaging when Reaper teleports. Maybe we just like lose the high ground and it's fine. We will take it back later, I guess. But besides that, I don't know.
What I think potentially is something to think about. I'm not too sure that's particularly like. Actually, I think that's a fun play to think about. It's maybe not the most valuable, but something you want to think about as support. If you compare Kiriko to other supports like the Ana or maybe Baptiste, a lot of times what you do with your ultimates, you initiate, and you not just initiate to get kills or like force resources. A lot of times, think about it this way. Everything is a resource. So maybe you force defensive cooldowns, but you can also think about taking advantageous spots, taking better positions, with your ultimates, basically, because
Okay.
let's say you ulted as a Baptiste or something, your team can walk, and then your team can take space on those positions, which are really important. Especially on this map, really game specific, this map is really valuable to controlling high ground here. So that is something to think about, using your ultimate so your team can walk into advantageous space, because if you do have it, eventually you can get this better map control. Yeah, so we saw, especially in this examples, yeah, somebody took map control here, landed a big nade, or Reaper's taking better map control, better angle, it gets a kill, and actually snowballs the entire point. Yeah, map control is
Okay.
extremely important currently. So even if you can't do that, maybe it might seem like not the best valuable play, but if we initiate with our Kiriko ultimate in order to fight this high grounds, first of all, what's happening
Yeah.
is your Ashe can actively shoot. Maybe you get better regen for abilities, some more support, etc., etc. Just kind of like that, thinking it. Okay, what space are we pushing? If we want to push that, eventually, what can happen as well, because you have your ultimate, maybe it's easier for you to shut down this as well. Yeah, because more threatening shots. You're also gonna have your Suzu. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually use the Suzu 2 times. If I'm not mistaken, just Suzu once
Yeah.
and then Suzu second time. Yeah, so kind of like
And
that.
almost a third time at the end. So yeah.
Yeah, or we can even TP out of it as well. So that's what I think you can be potentially looking for as well.
Yeah. I didn't use my ultimate much in this game, but like usually I tend to use it aggressively. Like maybe
Initiating.
bad, but I try to use it aggressively. But
Mhm.
this game I didn't do it much, to be honest.
So does it make sense
think
with this perspective of taking advantageous position, why it's so valuable to use the ultimate like that, or any questions you got in that?
No, I mean, I think it really makes sense. I think it
Mhm.
could be a good play to use the ult on the Reaper last time.
Yeah,
Didn't think about it. But,
yeah, maybe
yeah.
it's not even like the just Reaper, but let's say there are two.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
two.
just to control the space.
Yeah, they two. Somebody is already in this space. We need to take control, so I'm using my ultimate to gain control with this space and push these guys away, scare them away when it's enough. So we take that position, and that's our resource now. That's our position constantly. Okay. So right now, also just one more example for us. Let's go back, and then here we're gonna TP back, trying to support Sim, trying to go back, and then right now, are we set up for the fight or not? And can we scout comfortably as well?
I mean, I think it's okay
No,
from
it's
my
okay.
position here.
It's okay.
But like,
but
I mean, it's
there's
not
a
okay because
quality.
I die. But,
There
but
is a
like,
quality
when
with
I'm
it.
seeing it, I feel like it's fine, you know, when I watch the replay. So I don't really
Okay.
know.
So the problem is, you shooting the hog, okay? Do you need to be exposed to two, those, or even three people
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Okay, yeah, obviously I
Okay.
don't.
So where we should be if we want to be controlling this space which your tank is taking, and still be only shooting the hog, not being exposed to these guys?
I mean, I could be like either like at the back left, like in the little corner that
Okay.
we see in the bottom left corner, or
Okay.
in the bottom right corner if I want to have the other line of sight. So either the left or the right, but not in the middle where I was. Just
Yeah. So idea for us is to use the corners, and also something to think about. This is exactly like me saying, okay, you can have off angles, of course. So this is the one quality off angle. Maybe you can be here, by the way, too. And when you're doing that, you can also clear this. You can clear this from time to time. But it all can happen only if you do the scouting and set up part properly. Because let's say you would have done it right now. You go on a high ground, yeah, your rank card's not doing something, and then suddenly you can spot this with the sound keys or something. And then you can clear this away, push that away, and then let's say, okay, he's threatening, you can do this, but first you utilize corners, and then you utilize this off angles. Well, any questions?
no, I mean it's pretty clear right
Nice.
now.
Yeah, good. I would say let's try to summarize then. There's kind of I was gonna have a lesson really soon, and it's just obviously I would say honestly we can have even more sessions potentially, just identifying what we might need to work on, what we can
Yeah.
improve at. I would say let's try to summarize first, and then I can share some ideas of what we can do in the future. But yeah, let's try to start with that. So what do you need to work on? What we got out of this review here?
But my positioning is really bad. So like I often like don't take high grounds and just like don't take safe lines. I don't. There is the whole scouting part which I didn't like even think about earlier. Like when I played the game, I didn't think about scouting. I just thought like, okay, there is this guy here, and we need to be careful about our flanks. But I didn't realize that it was like my job basically to do it.
Yeah,
Especially because I can climb walls, so it's much easier for me.
Exactly. You support, you also gain information a lot of times for your team. That's why you're supporting your team in a lot of ways, especially characters like the Mercy. They really, really rely on this kind of call, so maybe making those plays where they scout. By the way, can potentially ping someone too, yeah, if this happens, because you are the part of this like support line, yeah? You want to get information. So you really,
I tend to talk in game, like I just call out in voice chat.
Nice. Perfect. So our first step is scouting. What was our next step? Which we want to do after that?
I mean, it's the whole setup thing. So like taking the position for the next fight. And yeah, that's also an issue I had.
Exactly. So far, what we have in setup is pretty obvious, but we want to be taking off angles, and second, we want to be playing close to corners, so we minimize the amount of sweats we deal with. It's obviously almost whenever you do that, unless you have a really big advantage, usually push past the corner, but corners give you really high advantage. Okay, yeah, well, that is pretty good already. 3 things to work on, and potentially later, what I do with my students usually, if they want to look for something long term,